Welcome back to TeeDogCustoms to another video. In this video we're going to be continuing the rust removal on my 99 F350. I have some things I cleaned off the bench first of all to I don't know, help me out here. So what I was gonna do is I need to bend the metal. So there were three options. One was to make a brake, which I mentioned in the last video. The other option would be to buy one from Harbor Freight. I think it was like 250 bucks for a 36-inch brake. That would be cool, but I think what I'm gonna be doing, since I don't anticipate, like, I don't really care for metal, well, I guess I don't really care for like sheet metal work. It's not my area that I enjoy too much, so I don't anticipate to do a lot of it, so I'm not going to spend that kind of money. What I'm going to do instead, I think, is bend it on the edge of my table here, and use a combination of hammers and maybe, you know, something else. I may be able to use like a bar of steel to like run it along and then maybe clamp it down or something, and then use the hammer to get the finite bend I want. But all that to say, we're gonna do it with tools that we have here, so let's dive right in. There's no need, we're gonna run out to the truck, and it's a little overcast today, rainy, nasty. So I don't have the tripod, but I'm gonna show you guys what my intentions are. My intentions are going to be to hold this up like this, and then I'm going to mark where I want the bend on each side, and then use a straight edge to get the line right, and then I'll be able to bend it. So you can see right here, I have the light hooked on my camera, so hopefully you can see it better than yesterday, but we want to follow this same bend profile. So that's kind of what we're shooting for. And yeah, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna mark it up and we'll see what we come up with. Alright guys, so bear with me just for a second. I'll let you know what I kind of came up with, and I think it will work. But I found this like C channel. It's long enough, barely. Thankfully I had this little lip left on here. But I'm thinking what I'm going to do is kind of overhang it a little bit from the table, and then I've got the marks here that I marked where I need the bend, and I'm thinking on doing it like that. I'd rather have the bend on the long side because I can always trim this side. So I'm going to make sure I do it on the long side because I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work out. And then I have this big fifth, or I guess this is technically a gooseneck plate, not a fifth wheel. So I was thinking, and I haven't tried this yet, but if I bring this up like this, something's horribly unlevel. I thought it would have enough weight to like push it down, but not really. I think part of the issue I'm having is okay, this piece of steel is bent. Huh. Well, maybe I can flip it around. Yeah, there's a pretty big bow to this piece of steel, so that's not gonna work. Okay, well, that's not going to work for sure. The other option is get this where I want and just kind of use my hammer. It's probably going to move around a lot. But, you know, I could just kind of slowly work my way, but the problem is that keeping this, you know, all straight is the issue. And so another option could be taking a torch and kind of like heating it up so the metal kind of loosens up a little bit maybe. And I wish I had some clamps that I could like clamp through, big clamps to clamp through, and I could, you know, clamp a piece of wood or something. All right, give me a second while I figure out my plan B. And it's starting to like rain a little bit out here, so I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to work out here. But oh, bummer. Okay, so because this is so long, it's hitting some things down here, so I can't get it perfect up where it should be. But as far as this side goes, you can see that's gonna line up perfect, and you know, I'll be able to trim this a little bit, get it to fit in there nicely. But you can really start to see this thing start taking some shape, at least on the outside. Now we still have a lot of work to do in here before we can just, you know, weld this into place. But I mean, that's pretty darn good right there. Yeah, should be pretty dope. So I'm thinking what I probably will do, kind of seems the easiest at this point, is, well, let me get you down here and I'll show you. And it's starting to sprinkle, so I'm gonna go inside or go in the garage. But I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is treat all the rust in here, probably remove this, or I might just keep that but treat it. Probably cut it out. But just weld a straight piece down. Can't tell if the camera is picking it up. Yeah. So weld a straight piece of steel down to meet up with this piece. So I can keep this pinch look across the whole bottom. You can see it's right here. And I don't want to leave it to where there's not this there. So I'll probably do that. And it'll be perfect, really. And then it will be easier to just spot weld a new piece in here and then just have it meet up with here. So I know it might sound a little complicated, but it's really not. It'll be very easy. But I will need to start with that back piece first before I officially weld this into place, because I need to have access to all back here. Up in here, you can see we need to treat some rust back in there. So eventually I'm gonna have to get under here and really replace some of these supports that are just rusted. So it's by no means close to being finished, but I think we've got a good game plan now, and this looks really good. I'm happy with how this turned out, and I'll be able to definitely be able to bend the pieces of metal. And then when we get to this back door, it's, you know, not even half the, well, probably half the size of that, so it'll be cheese to bend and work with. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. Don't think I thought of that yesterday, but just running a new piece straight down, welding to it, and yeah, that will fix our little issue here. But it is starting to rain. It's pretty nasty out. I think it's actually it warmed up yesterday. It was like 50 degrees out, but today I think it's supposed to get back down to like 10 degrees tonight, and I think it's supposed to snow later today, but it's not cold enough to snow right now. So all that to say, all right, yeah, that'll probably do it for today, because I just don't want to get the camera wet, and I don't want to work in the rain. But if I do end up going back out there, I will pop the camera on, and we'll go from there. All right, so here's the plan. It started raining pretty hard outside, so what I did is I have a rough mark. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I know where I need to bend, and I'm gonna cut this off here so I can bend. It'll be nice and easy. And then what I can do is I will use this up, probably this other piece, for the flat part that I was telling you guys about. But that will make this piece pretty much ready to go once I cut it and then bend it. So I'm going to cut it here, and then that will give me room to bend the lip. And just as I expected, when I got about halfway through, the metal kind of popped, and I felt like all this, the tension just relieved. So I guess there was just tension in the metal, and that's why, from being bowed up, and that's why it was doing that. So now that we have this cut, you can see our marks where the bend has to go. Alrighty. Alright, we're getting close. I think what we'll have to do though is I think we're gonna have to make this angle here start a little sooner. It's just a little too long. So if we start out good here and then we start bending down farther. So I need to start the bend at this line. Would have been a whole lot easier. This side is looking pretty spot on. But it would have been a lot easier to use the vise before I tried bending it, because the vise, I could put it exactly on the line where I want it and then just work my way down. But it is what it is, folks. That's why we do this. We learn from our mistakes. So I'm just going to go back, rebend this. We'll come back here, check it out, and then if everything is looking good, then we'll start by putting the back piece in first, and then we will pop this side on and, you know, go from there. Alright guys, so I think I've got this under here ground away where I want it. I've got this piece where I can stick it up here. I'm going to leave it long on either side, and then I'll use like a straight edge and mark a line that I can cut. But I will do that once I get probably this on and the back spot on. So my plan is to tack weld this into place along here, and then I will spray all this with some rust protector, and this is already painted, but I'll kind of just freshen everything up under here with rust protector, so you know I won't ever have this issue again. So think I'm going to close out this video here, mainly because my battery's like pretty much dead and I can't find my other battery packs. My son took them in the house somewhere, and so I just need to find them. But this is what we're left with right here. I'm gonna finish tacking this up. I burnt through in a couple spots over here, but we're gonna finish tacking this all in and then grind it down, and then we can go from there. But like I said, I'm gonna end the video here. We're getting there, folks. We are getting there. So thanks for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video, and yeah, stay tuned. And this is part 2. So whoa, the lens was so dirty. This is part 2, and next up will be part 3. So I'll catch you guys. Keep grinding. Peace.